dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from the Knick of Time show. Here, give you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time. Guess what, guys? The Knicks just won another one. Knicks beat the Magic 108-85. And we had contributions from a few places, all right? Precious Achiuwa chipped in crunch time. Cat got into foul trouble, gave you 6.6 rebounds. Brunson went off and carried a team scoring low for a while and gave you 26 points with 9 assists and 2 steals. Let's go. Karl Bridges once again was steady, gave you 17 points, shot 6-12 from the field with 3 assists and 2 steals. Pat gave you 16 points, 8 rebounds, 1 steal. And Josh Hart came in and did his thing, gave you 23 points, 13 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and was a plus 23 on the night. Highest plus minus for the team goes to Josh Hart tonight. All right. Suggs had 27 points, but ended up being in foul trouble in the third quarter, which switched the game for the Knicks, who then took over. And not only that, we took over with the rebounding 61-40. And the points off turnovers 24-10. And we're going to talk about it all. We're going to talk about everything, even our lack of threes, because we only took 15 threes today and still won in the modern NBA. So let's talk about it. All right. The good, the bad, the ugly. We're talking about it all. But it's all good for us because the Knicks came up in MSG South. You heard the deuce chants. You heard the defense chants for the Knicks and Magic. And over there in MSG South, and we got that win. All right. So let's talk about it. Before I talk about it, I'm gonna introduce you to my guy. It is the Latin assassin, ESPN contributor, Bleacher Report contributor. Check out that guy on the putback recently. My man, Lee Escobedo. Was good, Lee?
What's good, my brother Jay Ellis? What a win. This, and I tweeted this a couple minutes ago. I thought this win was the most indicative of why the New York Knicks are contenders. We start out playing hard, but not necessarily playing smart. The Magic had a very particular game plan and scheme they were throwing at us, and we had to adjust. And not only were we able to, but I think we really executed with precision in the second half and really stepped on their necks and understood when we had the advantage. When Suggs went to the bench in foul trouble, Brunson went hot and really attacked the mid-range, and that displayed their defense and opened things up for everybody else. I was really impressed with this win because this Boston team just beat the Celtics 2 games ago. And it was the same roster, the same Magic roster, and really it's because Jalen Suggs has become a very good, not just point of attack defender, which he was last year, but a great point of attack himself. And I loved how the Knicks contained him and actually got him in foul trouble and stopped him from becoming a facilitator and getting guys easy assisted shots.
Yeah, it's funny. I kind of feel like the Magic and the Knicks kind of have similar game plans. They were like, "Hey, we're going to get Cat in foul trouble," and we were like, "Hey, we're going to get Jalen Suggs in foul trouble." Only problem is, after we lose Cat, we still have more weapons, and they do not. And it was advantage Knicks. But before that, Lee, I'm not gonna lie, I was like scratching my head a little bit about the shaky start. The Magic, they always play defense hard from the tip. I feel like it took us a little bit of a while to adjust. I feel like we didn't start playing back until maybe halfway towards the first quarter. He's like, okay, now we want to play defense now. Okay, cool. And then usually I notice Cat kind of starts off slow, and then he works his way into the second quarter. But the difference today was Cat didn't even really touch the ball in the first quarter. Usually when Cat starts slow, he'll get the ball at the top of the 3-point line, and our guys start cutting, and he'll hit some people off with passes. But he didn't even touch the ball. So I was kind of just concerned with the flow of the game, and if we can work Cat in, and it just never really happened for Cat. But luckily, like you said, Jalen Brunson really took over the game for us, and so did Josh Hart. The roommate show were the stars of the game today for me.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it, that we have five guys who are capable of going off on a different night. Today we had a different Nick go off for over 20 points, and it was Josh Hart. It's really amazing. And it's one of the things that I think makes us not only the best starting lineup, but the best team in NBA is that not many other teams, with the exception of the Celtics, have five guys who can all put the ball on the floor and find a way to score. A lot of guys, even though the NBA is the most talented it's ever been, most NBA players at this level need assisted field goals. The Knicks are one of the few teams, our starting five, is that's not the case. Today, we only had 18 assists, but we were still able to generate more offense in Orlando because Orlando, outside of Suggs, doesn't have anyone else on their roster healthy that can generate their own shot on ball. The Knicks do. Tonight, it wasn't OG, it was Josh Hart. It wasn't Mikal Bridges, it was Jalen Brunson. Karl Towns got in foul trouble, had a frustrated game. He was really being hunted too on defense. He really had to work overtime on defense because they're really attacking him on pick and roll. And what happens? It allows Josh Hart to have these opportunities, and he made quick decisions with the ball. It's just, again, really a testament to how advanced this Knicks offense is, because it allows any player who is capable to have great nights when the defense allows it for. So we're in a great position. We're only going to get better as guys like Precious and Landry Shamet continue to acclimate into the rotation. And I think Tibbs is going to have to play 10 once Mitchell Robinson gets back, at the very least 9. I loved what Landry Shamet has shown us, and even more, I've loved what Precious Achiuwa has showed us in limited minutes.
Yeah, it was apparent when Precious Achiuwa came on that we needed his defense, because, like you said, they were targeting Karl Towns on that pick and roll, and you can see it. You can see how slow he is to react when he's caught in that no man's land spot. But Precious Achiuwa, the player of the night, guarded the ball, turned around, made like a 90-degree turn, and then blocks Wendell Carter Jr. at the rim. One of the plays of the night for me, and that's something that Karl hasn't really done, and that's not really in his DNA to do. And that's kind of why sometimes I feel like, man, maybe we should have Precious next to Karl sometimes, just to make plays like that. But like the reason why I felt like we even started to go off to the races in that third quarter wasn't even just because of Suggs fouling, getting into foul trouble. I just feel like our defense ratcheted up when Precious got in, because the defense at the rim was better. Also, he was able to switch a little bit more sometimes. Also, he was just more active defensively for us, and I think it helped. It just helped us build the lead.
Yeah, a lot of people were prognosticating that the Knicks were in trouble defensively. Like, we don't have a defensive identity. What are we going to do? Is Mitchell Robinson ever going to come back? And I was adamant, start of the season, that our defense really hedges more on Precious Achiuwa than it even does Mitchell Robinson, because Mitchell Robinson is great for those one-on-one matchups, the Jokers, the Embiids, the Miles Turner, guys who dog walked iHeart. Mitch would come in and he would play lockdown defense. But this modern game, you get a lot of switchability on the perimeter. You got centers who can handle the ball. You got centers who can shoot. You got forwards who can handle the ball, and forwards who can shoot. And to me, Precious is a linchpin, because not only can he play backup 5 minutes of Cat when Cat sits and keeps the rebounding rate at the same level, he's also able to play next to Cat and take on the hardest defensive assignment in the post, but also guard the rim and let Cat be more of a roamer, a weak side shot blocker, and a help defender. And I think Precious is really key, his ability to switch on the perimeter. But we've been talking about this all season. These concepts of doublings, soft doubles, hedges, what's the other one that we were talking about? Digs. Exactly. Those fundamentals. Those are Tibbs' fundamentals. And Precious, I think, more than any other bid we have, is probably the best at that because of his mobility and his foot speed and his IQ. Not only that, he helps with backdoor cuts. He helps with offensive rebounds and putbacks. He had 3 offensive rebounds today. So you're really getting that Mitchell Robinson rebounding rate with only 20 minutes. I think if he played Mitch minutes at 28, 29, he probably would give you 8 rebounds. He had 10 the other night, but his offensive rebounding ability, that's really key, and that's helped reaffirm what we were known for last year, is bringing some of that back, and it's making us a more dominant defensive unit in the second half of this game, which really led to our win, was us getting stops.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm not even going to hold you. I was nervous about his offensive rebounding for a second. Not even his offensive rebounding, his rebounding in general. Because when Isaac and that second unit came in, I felt like they were out rebounding us for a second, but then that quickly turned. That quickly turned around. And Precious picked it up. He definitely picked it up for sure. Outside of a few turnovers, I thought he had a pretty solid game for us coming off the bench.
And he's still working his way back into repetition and knowing where to be and just having that rhythm and timing around the rim. I think those things would show up because he wasn't really a turnover machine. To my recollection, last season when he came into the Knicks, especially playing in tandem with OG, he played pretty disciplined. So I expect a lot of that stuff to be cleaned up by years in. And if you're playing for Tibbs, you can expect it to. Otherwise, his minutes will decrease.
Yeah, and all the turnovers seem to happen between him and Josh in particular. Like I feel like they weren't on the same page as when to cut, when to pass. Like I felt like when Josh was zagging, and then Precious thought he was going to zig, and a couple of turnovers happened that way. But I think that's just more time playing with the starting unit, figuring out the tendencies and things of that nature. I think he'll be fine. But yeah, solid game by Precious. Jalen Brunson, you already know what he did. He does. The Magic like to switch a lot too, so that's you already know when the Magic like to switch a lot. It's harder to get the assist numbers up. You have to go to work, and when you have one of the best one-on-one NBA of offensive machines on your team, he can just take over the game. But not only that, he also still found ways to get you 9 assists, especially in that first half when he was just getting to the paint at will and dipping off to every single cutter imaginable. And I'll tell you, the Magic make it really hard to even pass, man, because they're long. They get their hands in the passing lanes, so they still make it difficult to even get the passes out that are usually there. But Brunson found a way to do that in that first half. So happy he had that game.
That's a really great point. And just to boot, three rebounds for Jalen Brunson as well. Rebounding against this team is important. It needs to be a team effort because all 5 guys on the Magic rebound and be really rebound at a really high rate too. They probably have some of the best rebounding guards on their team if you consider Anthony Black in that category and KCP as well. But Jalen Brunson, this might be his best season, I think. It's certainly his most efficient. You could look at some of the numbers and say there were certain periods where he was shooting more efficient from 3 or from the mid range, but to me, it's the whole package. That same diet shot selection that we saw from Randall from one season of Nets where he really became minimized. I'm starting to see that from Jalen Brunson too. He's really picking and choosing where he takes his shots at and which ones he takes to get into rhythm as well. And the mid range is really becoming his dominant area. So him and Mikal Bridges are able to stagger, giving us a constant 24/7 mid range threat, playing alongside Karl Anthony Towns and OG Anunoby, but the dimes too, man. I'm actually impressed by some of the passes he's throwing. Never saw this in Dallas. In Dallas, he wasn't the assist generator. He's more the pass that led to the pass. So he played more of a Josh Hart role or even Karl Anthony Towns role in some of the same positioning on the court. But here he's really that Steve Nash where he drives and gets right under the basket and then is able to curl it to find the trailer, and usually it's either OG, who's one of the most dominant dunker spot players in the NBA, or Mikal Bridges, someone who has constant rhythm with, and is just Mikal Bridges finishes around the basket are also incredible. Never even seen RJ or quickly do some of the stuff he's doing around the rim in terms of difficulty. It gives him a buffet of options to pass the ball to and have really high efficiency shots. I'm really impressed by the step that he's taking. I think that hasn't been talked about enough is with the Karl Anthony Towns addition, no one has really had to acclimate or change their game more than Brunson this time around. And I think it's for the betterment of the entire team because I personally like Brunson more as a playmaker and table setter than I do having to score 30 every game for us to win.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's averaging less shots this season. Well, although he's averaging less shots this season, his percentages from 3 are up. His overall percentages are up. Effective field goal percentages are up. His assists are up. And that's what you want from your guard. Like, all right, I'm going to sacrifice my game because you have all these other weapons here. And because I don't have to take on the load, my percentages are up. And that's exactly what's been happening. Also, a weird stat that I saw on Twitter today, Jalen Brunson hasn't hit a 3 since the 39-point barrage against the Pelicans 3 days ago. crazy stat. So it's like all these talking heads in the NBA talking about playing the game the wrong way and how the NBA just goes 3 happy. Jalen Brunson is like, you know what? I'm going against the grain. I'm going to stop shooting threes for 3 games straight, and we're still going to win. And guess what? We're just gonna do it with defense, holding the Magic to 85 points. What are we in 1990? Like, what decade is this? 85-point game in a modern NBA is nuts. I think that's even though like the Magic are missing, a lot of players. You have to note that. But the fact that we still held the team to 85 points and we're winning in different ways and we're winning dirty is something that I like to enjoy. I like to see the versatility, especially because there's been a lot of stink of us losing Hartenstein and Dante DiVincenzo and those guys affecting our style of play. So it's good to see that we have the versatility to win, to have a finesse game and still win dirty.
Great point, Jay. And it really harkens back to the conversation I had, not last game because I was out, but the game before, where I was complimenting the Knicks' ability to really score in a diverse number of ways. And I said, we're not a team that really depends on high volume threes, even though we're a very efficient 3-point shooting team. Tonight was a great example of that. We only did 4 3-pointers and only took 15 and shot 26.7% from 3, and we won by double digits. What in the hell? That's a true Tom Thibodeau stamp right there. And again, that goes back to having 5 guys on the court that don't need their shots assisted on, that can all get their own buckets. And Josh Hart, to me, was amazing in his ability to get into the hoop, not just make the shot, but get fouled and then hit the free throw as well. It really opened everything up. He kind of operates at the Karl Towns this game, where he was the one that was healer-centric and drawing the defense and collapsing, and then allow for everyone else to have more wide-open shots when he passed the rock. And he's really great at passing the rock, especially downhill. Yeah, it's incredible. We can really score in the paint. We can score in the mid-range, and that, I think, separates us from teams that OKC that struggles and being one-dimensional when SGA is not on the floor, or even a team like Orlando, when they're fully healthy, they don't have a 3-point volume to match up with us, or the Cavs, Donovan Mitchell's sitting. They have trouble scoring their front court between Mobley and Allen. We are really a dominant 5-man out team that can score in a variety of ways. And tonight was a perfect example by only hitting 4 3-pointers in 2024.
Yeah, it could really be anyone and anything, depending on whatever night is going to happen that night. It really can be. And tonight was Josh Hart's night. And you know what impressed me about Josh Hart too? He had 8 rebounds in the third quarter when we started to blow the game open. But when you watch him and how he rebounds, he rebounds dirty. Like his all his rebounds aren't clean rebounds. It's like running start, running into a big man who's already 7 feet tall, poking the ball away from him and then tracking it down and getting the ball, or at least poking the ball away and then causing a turnover because then the big man tries to get the ball. I get tired watching this kid, man. And the Magic have a lot of workhorses, and he outworked all the workhorses, and that's saying something. That's really saying something. And not to mention the defense he's played today was really good as well, and hitting the open threes in the second half of the game. Yeah, game ball Josh Hart for sure.
Yeah, I remember listening to Dennis Rodman talk about, like, he would watch film on the opposing teams to know how teams would miss, and he would also know how his teammates missed on the Pistons as well, so he could be there for offensive rebounds. He knew where to position himself when certain players had certain shots and where the angle would come down for him to grab the board. Josh Hart rebounds very differently. Josh Hart runs into the traffic of where the opposing team's players are, especially when there's like 2 or 3, and he, like you said, he just outworks, outmuscles, runs faster, jumps higher. He does whatever it takes. He gets hit a lot and a lot of that traffic rebounds where his body takes a bruising, but he does it in the first quarter, second quarter, before halftime, fourth, and that type of winning play mentality is infectious for the rest of the team. And he really is, and all pun intended, the heart of a team.
It's funny. I feel like it amps him up too. You know the crazy white guy at the bar that you don't want to fight because he's hitting himself in the head with a bottle. Like, I feel like that's Josh Hart when he's rebounding. He's like, or like Josh Hart when he's playing basketball. That. It's like if you hit Josh Hart, he just gets mad, or he's like starts screaming at you, give me some more. And like Josh Hart is nuts. Like Josh Hart is crazy. Like he enjoys that too much. Like, I just picture him just hitting himself in the head with bottles like every day. Oh man, salute to the chat. We gonna make this a short post game. No super deep dives here, man. Just good basketball, good game against a team that's shorthanded. Shout out to people who are here. I felt like I saw some new names. Shout out to Gregory Lee. Shout out to Crazy and Insane TV. Enjoying the jokes on a Friday night. Shout out to Anthony D. Shout out to I saw somebody. I feel like I saw somebody else. Alarica Bob. Shout out to you. And Winston Ellis, shout out to you, my real fake cousin Winston. I see you, man. Welcome, welcome. Everybody else is rocking with the KOT show, man. If you like the show, hit that like and subscribe. And we'll, write something in the comments. We'll shout you out and give you some shine. I don't know if you see any comments that you want to shout out, Lee.
No, great to see Crazy Insane TV and Space Joe's, two guys who I can't recall. Maybe they have been in the chat before, but I can't recall. Same thing with Optimist and Anthony D. Great to see some new names, some familiar names. Prezi the Boss, Gregory Lee, Winston Ellis. We really love you guys. You could be anywhere, but you're here hanging out with the KOT fam. We really appreciate that. We love our family. There would be no show without the fans.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like I've seen Space Ghost. Anthony D. I don't recognize. All right. Okay. All right. Also, Miles McBride didn't have a crazy game, but 5 rebounds too as well. Talking about gang rebounding, when your guard has 5 rebounds, it's saying something because we needed every single rebound that we can get. But also Landry Shamet makes
there we go
his debut. This is like his real debut because he had a debut at Christmas, but he had his real debut. So he got to play with the second unit some and run around and in that second quarter when we started to make a little bit of push. And then he also came in the fourth quarter. So, Lee, what did you think about Landry Shamet's performance today?
I love Shamet, man. I really think he's discount DiVincenzo. I truly believe that if he would have been fully healthy to start the season, that shoulder injury would have never happened. I think he would be giving us 80% of what Devo gave us last year off the bench, not as a starter, but off the bench. He's a high volume shooter. And watching Washington, where he had the ball in his hands a lot last season, he's also a movement shooter. He can sidestep, bat step, pump fade, relocate. He's really dynamic, and he's a pure shooter as well. He's not streaky or someone who's off and on or goes through cold stretches. He's been a solid 38% shooter his entire career, which is a high mark. And he's been doing that since the mid 2010s, and before the era of the 2020s where people just bombing away every night. I love him. Love his attitude. He was really getting into it defensively as well. He was always trying. And I think if he's playing 10 minutes this game, he must be really impressive in practice. Tibbs always talks about you got to meet certain metrics or certain goals before you play. Then there's a reason why we don't see a lot of these rookies. There's a reason why we don't see TJ Warren. I think that what Tibbs is looking for, which really is that Grimes and Devo role, guarding the point of attack on switches or pulling up from 3 when you're wide open and not being scared to shoot, that's Landry Shamet. It's been Landry Shamet his entire career. And I really believe that if he stays healthy, Tibbs gives him a confidence and spans the rotation, I think he's going to be a key contributor in a way that we wanted Bogdanovic to be last year for this upcoming playoff run. Key, because he also has a lot of playoff experience.
Yeah, I agree. I was also kind of impressed on how seamlessly he fit. He came in the game right away, got his feet set, got to the corner, boom, hit his first 3 like it was nothing. Like, I do this, I've been doing this, and I'm gonna continue to do this. I like that. Probably one of the few threes that we hit this game. Also, I was really impressed that he went to the basket because there was a play where Campaign turned down the layup. I think he might have been surprised how open he was but saw Shamet in the corner for 3. Shamet got chased off the 3-point line, went to the hole, and shot a layup. Showed no ill effects on that shoulder, and was clean. So, quick 7 points for Shamet today, and it looks like how many minutes he played? He played what, 10 minutes? He also played with the first unit some, I think.
Yes, he did.
So Tibbs, I can already see Tibbs like got his wheels turning. He's like, all right, we might need some more space. We might need a quicker trigger because OG can hit the 3. OG's still been struggling. He had that one good game from 3 versus Toronto, but then struggled the next game. So you can easily plug in Shamet if you're like, you know what, we still need one more 3-point shooter here. That's going to be a little bit quicker. That's going to give us even more space. So you can play with Shamet and McCall, who are both kind of movement 3-point shooters with a quick trigger. with certain lineups. So I can envision Tibbs just plugging him in certain situations.
JLS, if you think about how Leon Rose and Tibbs have adjusted the roster year over year, they've gotten rid of the guys that were scared to shoot in the playoffs. They give them a chance. Everyone's already gotten a chance to be in the rotation after year one in the postseason. But Grimes, he was scared. That's why he's gone. IQ, he was scared. That's why he's gone. RJ, Obi, same story. He gets rid of the guys that don't step up in the moment. Even if you miss, it's how you miss, it's when you miss, who's guarding you, how far away are they? All those metrics I think are included. He wants gamers. He wants experience. That's what that Bodie and Albert Birds trade was about. And what happened when everyone got injured? Albert Birds came off the bench and tore up the Indiana Pacers. And some stretches was our best player in that second round series. That's the type of guy that Leon Rose wants on this roster. And those are the type of guys that Tibbs trusts enough to include and to expand the rotation. I really foresee Landry Shamet being a key piece, which is why I argued perhaps hyperbolically that he would get into the starting lineup and supplant Josh Hart. Again, that was wrong. Not happening. The injury definitely derailed that. It's not going to happen. Josh Hart's too perfect. Don't change what's works. But damn it, he will be in the rotation.
Yeah, he'll be in the rotation. And you know what else too? The fact that Josh Hart's hitting threes this year makes it even harder to take him off the floor.
Yeah.
Because like, of course, he doesn't have that quick trigger that Shamet has from three, but he's still giving you the threes. And that front unit sometimes needs a rebounding punch sometimes, along with Karl Anthony Towns. So it's even harder to take Josh Hart off the floor when you need that type of guy there. So definitely spot minutes. I can see Shamet getting in there for sure. But it seems like OG might be the guy. I don't know.
I think Josh Hart willingness to shoot more threes this season and shoot him in a high clip, that's kept him in the starting lineup. It's why Tibbs has not adjusted or even thought about or mentioned any adjustments, because he's filling the role, but what that role requires, which we've talked about extensively on the show. But it's also the reason Deuce Bry is still on the roster and Misset's man. He's not scared to shoot. Last playoff postseason, he stepped up and became maybe our second best shooter on the team after Devo. He is clutch. And that's also the reason why Campaign is playing. Campaign is not afraid to shoot. And Precious is not afraid to take at least one a game when he's open. And if you can at least hit 1 out of 3, then hey, I'll take 33% from Precious, man. That if you're open, you're hitting 33%, that's going to help us win games, and you can start closing sometimes when things are close alongside Karl Anthony Towns. So yeah, again, Shamet's a gamer. It made sense why Leon has really maneuvered the way he has. Also, shout out Leon Rose, man. There's always the reason to shout you out. But damn it, the contract negotiations with Landry Shamet have been perfection and really show us as a competent franchise.
Yeah. Precious is shooting more this year. Last year he was driving me crazy. I'm not gonna lie. not with the shooting. Overall play, yes. He stepped up in certain situations, yes. But I'm talking about shooting in particular. I was like, yo, Precious, shoot the ball. Like,
Agreed.
But he's been shooting the ball a little bit more this year, and specifically in that corner, he'll take that corner three for sure. He'll take those.
I see a super chat.
Yeah, I see a super chat. He definitely was getting to that. Salute to the chat, man. I don't know. Everybody must have got Christmas bonuses and raises because I don't know. December has been very good with you guys as far as donations. I definitely appreciate you guys. It's gonna help us keep the lights on over here. I'm not gonna lie, man. I was thinking about bringing the phones back the way I've been donating.
Let's do it
for real. But shout out to Tony Banks to give a $15 super chat, who says, "What up, guys? Let's go Knicks." All right. Appreciate you. Crazy and Insane TV said he's been here before. He just changes the name.
Oh,
okay. Salute to you though. Kadeem Wright, shoot to you as well. I think I've seen you. Michael Moss, welcome back. Haven't seen you in a while. Marshall L as well. All right.
I want to shout out one statement I see here in the chat by Gregory Lee. It's a good point. We're overlooking Precious' ability to move without the ball. I mean, Tibbs loves cutting. OG and Mikhail are two of the best in the business at it. But I said this when we got Precious, that he's a great cutter. He has great instincts into the hoop, and he has better hands. I think we all expected him to have when he came to the team. But yeah, facilitating, that could probably improve a little bit. Crispness in the passes. You mentioned it earlier, the misdirect between him and Josh Hart. I think there was a pass both ways that led to a turnover. Yeah, and that's something that Precious don't have to work on, but he's still reacclimating himself to the roster and playing with these guys in advanced offensive spacing.
Yeah, I think that's been the most fun thing about this team is that everybody can cut and everybody can hit threes and everybody can play defense. You know, I mean, to at least some degree.
Yep.
So it makes us extremely versatile on how we score because now you have two offensive engines in Cat and Jalen Brunson, and everybody around them can either cut or hit a three. It makes us really dangerous and hard to guard for 48 minutes. So I really like the way that Leon smartly built this team. It was really, really, really good job of making us balanced. And yeah, when Mitch comes back, so we'll be even more balanced and more versatile on the offense and defensive end. So yeah, for sure.
It's one of the best team building exercises, I think, of the 21st century. We didn't have like a Steph Curry that we ended up building around. We really, when he came over, we had Randall, who's no longer here. He really had to build the core of his team from the ground up, and he used a draft as a draft, develop, and then trade when their stock is at their highest, with the exception of maybe Obi. Like that's really incredible GM roster and asset management. And I can't think of another franchise that really has built from a ground up better besides, I mean, maybe OKC, but still they drafted Durant and then they traded for SGA. This was really like from the mud, and Leon Rose performed miracles.
Yeah, for real, for real, for real, for real. Like we really, I still remember the days. It was like, man, we have this guy who can shoot but can't play defense. We have this guy
Yep.
who can't play defense but he can shoot. Like I still
Yeah.
remember, like, oh, Novak is the man, but don't ask him to guard anything that can move faster than 3 miles per hour because he's gonna get smoked. And it was
Yeah. Or Ronnie Brewer and Jared Jeffries can't score worth a damn, but played good D. It was tough.
exactly. It was
One
tough.
dimensional.
It was tough, one-dimensional player at every position. But man, that's
Yep.
not the problem anymore. We paid OG millions of dollars. We paid away first round picks, but at the end of the day, it's worth it to get these versatile pieces here.
Absolutely worth it. 100% worth it. Yep.
Absolutely. I do it again. Do it again.
Me
Oh
too.
man. Yeah, I'm good. The only other thing I really wanted that was only weird to me was like the refereeing is weird. Do the cat fouling, man. Sheesh. Sheesh. Second game in a row where I'm just like, man, the fouling is nuts. And it's crazy because on one end, the refs, they called like a ticky-tack foul on Cat, where I'm like, man, somebody else did the exact same thing and they got a steal. Cat does it, he gets a foul. But then Cat still has just these bad habits of either like moving screens, he'll get one or two of those a game, or he'll do the thing where he'll drive by you and then he'll like hook your arm and he'll get a foul that way. He has a lot of really bad habits on offense and defense that just draws fouls for him and gets him out the game early. And he has to clean that up because that's the only thing that's really kind of stopping him right now.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. I think it's more on the offensive side that frustrates me. It's not just the moving screens, but the offensive fouls when he barrels to the lane. And I think his emotions dictate how foul prone he becomes. Today, he got angry after the first quarter. He started playing angry to tell that he was complaining a little bit when he was running back on defense. I heard the mic catch him one or two times, being very frustrated vocally. But you're right. It's a thing that he needs to clean up if he really wants to be a consensus MVP candidate. I think it holds him back and it causes nights like this where he's unavailable because
Yeah,
of the foul trouble. Luckily, as we've been saying, we have four other guys who put the ball on the floor and get you 20 points minimum. Josh Hart tonight, Jalen Brunson had no nuclear in the fourth quarter again, hit some really clutch baskets, but we need Cat out there for guys like OG and Mikal get going from the corners. We need Cat out there for Deuce McBride to have open space in the mid range to hit his great shots, or Cam Payne to be able to shoot those shots above the break because of the defense that Karl Anthony Towns requires as a force. And so yeah, I think it's mind over matter. It's not a physical thing; it's a mental thing, and it's going to come from owning that mistake and really investing in watching tape, which is something Randall never wanted to do. But he's really going to have to watch tape and be a gym rat and really work with Tibbs to find out the areas, like how are these fouls being caused and how can he change his approach mentally and physically to make sure that the reps are on his side.
yeah. I feel like when Randall gets emotional, he stops playing defense. When
True.
Cat gets emotional, he fouls.
Give me Cat. Give me Cat. Oh man. I love you, Randall, but damn it, I don't miss you, bro. I'm sorry, man. Vibes are great. The vibes are great.
Yeah, vibes are immaculate. Yes,
Man.
for sure, for sure. Especially when how many 5 games in a row? How many games you win, chat? How many games you win, chat? 5 in a row? You losing count already? You losing count? Like I feel like we go on like a 9-game winning streak at least once a year. So maybe this is ours right now. But you got the Wizards twice. What's the next few games, man?
I think the Jazz are in there as well.
The Jazz,
A bunch of bum teams.
Yeah, but the Jazz always get us, man. I don't know what it is about the Jazz. The Jazz is a bum team, but they be getting us.
Yeah. In a span of a week, we got the OKC Thunder twice, January 3rd and January 10th. Those are going to be probably the two best, what's the phrasing? Benchmarks for us.
Right.
I think we see where are we defensively. I'm not worried about us offensively, especially because OKC is one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the NBA. So I think we can beat them just on the perimeter and the rhythm of our shooting. But defensively, they have guys that have given us a lot of trouble, like Jalen Williams gives us trouble, Casey Wallace has given us trouble, Caruso gives us trouble, SGA, of course, as a point of attack, is probably number one in the NBA. But they span the pick and roll. They really attack opposing players in pick and roll. They game plan. They're very well coached. So that is kind of where I'm worried. It's how do we really maintain our defensive identity, which has been growing these last couple of games. And then also iHeart. It's going to be interesting to see iHeart battle Karl and Anthony Towns. And I think Towns really needs to take to iHeart and dog walk him like Miles Turner and Joel Embiid did in the playoffs.
Yeah, Jalen Williams always gives us problems for sure. The thing is, like, I don't think, like, I remember last year we played OKC. They gave us a lot of problems defensively. I feel like they turned us over a lot. But also, I don't think we had OG to contain Jalen Williams at the time. I don't think we had him yet. Because I can't remember watching him going, damn, we have nobody to really match up with him. We had Josh Hart, that was the closest, but we didn't have anybody else. So I'm thinking OG is gonna help us kind of even the playing field. But yeah, unless my memory serves me incorrectly, I think it's gonna help us a lot. We also didn't have McCall as well, so two wings should help us a lot tremendously. Alex Caruso versus Brunson. There's been games when Brunson smoked his boots. And there's been games when Caruso has given Brunson problems. So that's definitely going to be a matchup to watch. Caruso is never an easy night.
Right. And then they also have Dort in that switch as well. I mean, Casey Wallace is a great point of attack defender, very deuce-like in his role off the bench.
Right.
They're a very dynamic team. Not only do they have 5 above average one-on-one defenders, they're starting 5. They are chaotic in how they force turnovers and play the passing lanes. That's really the core of their defensive identity. Yeah. They swarm, they double, they blitz. That's going to be a real test for us. We're going to need to have all 5 guys really locked in and moving the ball in really smart ways. That cat one arm, like fancy shit, you got to pause on that. This is a team that you really have to have the fundamentals down when you play them because they're a juggernaut. And I think that they're a head and tails above everyone else in the West. Great benchmark, though.
Extremely great benchmark. Yo, shout out to best mod in the game.
Hell yeah.
Who put the TikTok link in the chat. I salute you guys for that. Salute you guys.
Thank you, Fritz.
Yeah, thank you, Fritz. So for those who want to join the TikTok, you can hit that TikTok. You actually should see us streaming on TikTok too. Let me know what experience you like, because there's like a TikTok format and there's like a YouTube format. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole different setup over there. But let me know which one you guys like if you want to jump over to TikTok and say something. But salute to that. Yeah. I can't wait to see those games though. I'm really hyped to see iHeart play against the Knicks again, and the iHeart Cat game for sure.
Yeah, and I'm very interested. One more thing, because I like OKC. I'm very interested to see how we guard Jalen Williams. I think
Yeah.
how we guard Jalen Williams is going to be indicative of how we guard Jason Tatum. And when we eventually match up with him in the playoffs, they're very similar. They're a guy. He's someone. If SGA was on the team, I think he would lead them in almost by maybe all four categories. He's a very dynamic two-way player. The score is very similar to Jason Tatum. I think he's a good archetype of how we guard him. Do we double? Do we give him single coverage? What do we take away? What do we let him have? That's going to be really key on guessing how we're going to guard Tatum when that matchup happens as well.
Yeah. Yo, shout out to Jay. I haven't seen Jason M in a while, but the one Jason M is right a lot of times. The one thing I got him on that I was absolutely right about was Jason Williams. When I said the Knicks should, I wish the Knicks would have drafted Jason Williams, and he said
We had him.
and he was like, Jason Williams ain't gonna be nobody. I was like,
Jason M.
I don't know, man. I feel like Jason. That's the time when we had RJ. I was like, I feel like Jason would be perfect. I feel like Jason would be perfect next to Brunson. And I was like,
You know what's crazy? That might be Leon's biggest miss. If you really think about, if you take everything under review, trading that pick, they end up Thunder took Osman Dane at that position, and then immediately took Jalen Williams after, because they had the 12th and we had the 11th, and they gave us 4 picks. And those 4 picks we used for Mikal, we used for Karl Anthony Towns. They've been crucial in distributing and not having to have a Knicks pick. But he was there for the taking. And Jalen Williams, I think, would have thrived in Tom Thibodeau's system as well. I think he would have met the same potential he met in OKC under Leon Rose's own leadership. So it's a tough one. I wish he would have him. But again, I see the vision, man. I see the vision.
Yeah, I'm not mad. I'm not mad ultimately. I'm not mad ultimately. Because look who we got now. We got Mikal, we got OG. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all.
Sure. That Cat.
Definitely. Oh, yeah, you got Cat too, because that's right. The pick, we used that pick to get Cat. So we spent our money wisely. We spent our
definitely.
F them picks. All right, cool.
That's consensus. I agree.
Whatever. All right, salute to the chat, man. Shout out to Alric Kebab, Prez, the boss, everybody rock with the show. Erica Bob says Dort is tough like a rock. He always seems to be involved in some kind of injury. Oh, I did.
True.
Yeah. Wrap up those knees. Tape them up. OG guard your elbow. Let's get through this. Let's get through this. All right. Let's see. Yo, any ooh and bruts today?
Man, I had a few. Now, man.
I feel like
I've never been a believer in the Sacramento Kings. Never thought they're 2 guys. I didn't think Sabonis or Fox were ever championship first options. I thought both were championship second options. And a coach is always the first thing that happens when a team is slowly deciding to blow it up. They fired a coach. I wish everything happened at once and they sold high on all their prospects. They would trade Sabonis, trade Fox, trade DeRozan, maybe keep Keaton Murray. But Mike Brown, who I've never also been a fan of, I think he's one of the most overrated coaches in the NBA. He's really been ass crack awful in every stop but Sacramento. Perhaps learning at Golden State and improved him, and he brought that offensive system to them. Kudos. But man, that team was never really built to be a contender, and he's the first domino to fall. I think that team has never really prioritized defense. They mastered dribble handoff. They mastered the pick and roll. They mastered the high volume 3-point shooting. They're kind of really like maybe the best at that outside of OKC. And they've been the best the longest at that too, after Golden State kind of left Durant. They've been unbelievable offensively, led the lead in offensive pace and rating many seasons, but their defense has always been atrocious. And you have to win defense. You have to. Every contender is able to lock down, just stop when they need it, and they never did. So I kind of feel bad for Mike Brown because he's a scapegoat, and it's not all his fault. I think De'Aaron Fox might be traded as well, but that team was just never really built to be a contender. And I loved Mike Malone's monologue about McNair being the same one who fired him during his tenure in Sacramento. So I think there's 2 sides to every situation. I do feel bad for Mike Brown, but I think Mike Brown was not the right coach. He's not a championship coach, but that roster was never really the championship contender to begin with.
Bruh.
Yeah, bruh. Bruh, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, however you want. I agree, man. I'm not gonna lie. I still feel like I kind of been high. I've been high on De'Aaron Fox. I'm not gonna hold you. I've been high on ever since college, but I kind of feel like you said, the team isn't really built for defense, and I think it's more about roster construction than anything. To be honest,
Agreed, 100%.
like I feel like if you put certain players in certain constructed, better built teams, be fine. Like Fox and Sabonis together never really made sense to me from rip. But yeah, like you said, Mike Brown is a scapegoat. It might be well deserved, but that team was doomed from the start. It really was.
It I talked about this a little bit longer than I usually do because it makes me so happy we have Leon Rose, because Leon Rose has never really hinged its success of the New York Knicks on any one player except Brunson. Like, Brunson was a first piece, though. Brunson wasn't a last piece. It's not like we had to sell the whole house for Brunson. We got Brunson first and we bought low on him, and then he maximized his potential further than any of us did. But everything else since then has been a bonus. We haven't depended on any draft pick to be an all-star. We haven't depended on any free agent to be an MVP. They just come in and play the best basketball they can. Whereas Sacramento, really, it was Keegan Murray. That Keegan Murray pick, to me, was make or break for their season. And everyone else that was drafted after him, he was taken fourth in 2003, I believe. None of his other players are franchise number one options. The only one that drafted me is Banchero. I don't even think Chet's number one option. Banchero, tried and true superstar, right? Keegan Murray, they needed him to be a superstar. They needed him to grow into that first option. And then they stunted his growth by getting DeMar DeRozan and giving him DeMar DeRozan shots. Like, that to me was a roster construction, bad management, which is why it's not all Mike Brown's fault. It's also Menaire as a GM too, and some of the bad decisions that were made even before him with Vlade Divac. So they've been a dysfunctional franchise for as long as the Knicks have been. Really, if you think about it, they've been the Knicks of the West. But I think they needed Keegan Murray to pop, and he didn't. But it's too bad, man. I like the small market teams, and I try to root for them.
Yeah, sometimes if you're a young player and you have the wrong player in front of you or the wrong construction in front of you, it can screw you over. It's not even indicative of your talent. You can just be in the wrong place. That's Dyson Daniels, man. Like,
oh, great example. Yeah, behind Herb and Trey Murphy. Good point.
It's like sometimes you just need to get up from under somebody. Like,
facts.
So yeah, for sure.
Great point.
All right. Broad pick to the Pacers just cause.
Bruh. Tyrese. What a bum. Oh,
yeah.
Man.
What a bum. And I like the NBA Twitter all collectively need to give Wally Szczerbiak an apology. All right. He called him a fake all-star a year ago, and he called it, damn it. He called it. And I'm glad I stood on business with you, Wally. I stood on business with you. Whenever dude be having 0-point games, 0-point first quarters, I put up the Wally Szczerbiak picture. All right.
Yes, you do.
I put up the Wally picture, and I'd be like, "You was right, brother." And I know Wally's never going to respond because he's classy, and he already apologized. But you don't have to say it, Wally. I'll say it for you. Respect to Wally, damn it.
Howard Burton's kind of reminded me a little bit of Ben Simmons, man. It seems to be some mental there with the offensive game, but he always brings the passing, the ball movement, the rebounding, pushing on a break. He always has that very aggressive mentality to do the intangibles. It's a scoring. He seems to, his confidence does really highs and lows with shooting the ball, specifically from the perimeter. Even tonight, they had 19 points and he had nine assists. They still lost to the Boston Celtics. So it doesn't matter what he does at this point. I think he's really, his imprint on that team. I think it's hit the ceiling. I don't think they can get any better than they already are.
Interesting. Yeah, whew. I remember I was getting roasted for Jay Ellis. You didn't want Halliburton. You didn't want Halliburton. I thought, and I'm not gonna lie. I thought I was wrong for a second. I'm not even gonna lie. I thought I was wrong for a second. And he had a couple of good seasons. He did. Mm-hmm. He did. If he was a Knick, I'd probably be defending him right now, but he's not.
I don't know if mentally he could handle the New York experience. He can't even handle the Indiana experience. I don't know if he can handle the New York media, man. I think he really would go Ben Simmons.
That's a fact. Ben Simmons is a shell of himself. That's crazy. Yeah. Good luck. Good luck. Oh yeah. Good luck to Brooklyn. Not really.
Bruh.
Yeah. Just keep kicking them while they're down. Just keep kicking.
Bro, their accounts are the worst on Twitter, man. A Nets account, it's like, oh, it's gonna be a random API. They don't have no name associated with it. It's just someone's like spam account. They just posted dumbest stuff.
Yeah, and then tried to convince me that Mikal Bridges was whack. Come on,
Bruh.
come on. Your team was just whack. We just saved him. All right.
Yeah, terrible franchise.
Terrible. All right. All right, that's the show, yo. We just best part of the show is just trash talking up 10 minutes.
Hell yeah, I love it.
Oh man. All right, that's the show. Thank you guys for watching. Lee, do you have anything on the plug or
Yeah, man, I saw Nosferatu today. I highly recommend it for anyone who loves horror, loves historical fiction, loves the mythos of like monsters and those type of art types. It was a really great film by Robert Eggers, one of my favorite directors who did The Witch and The Lighthouse and The Northman. The Witch being my favorite of those. This one I would put below The Lighthouse and The Witch, but a very strong horror film. Incredible visuals, very few special effects, if any. Almost entirely prosthetic and really just movie magic with the camera. The cinematography and the lighting is incredible. It really induces fear. A great performance by Lily Rose Depp and a great performance by Bill Skarsgård as Count Orlok, Nosferatu.
all right. Good recommendations. I don't have any recommendations. Yeah, I've not really been watching any real like anime stuff lately, but I need to get back on it. Need to get back on it, but I haven't been watching any stuff lately for sure. For real. I've been spending time with family. Really, that's what I've been on.
It's better.
Yeah, especially now I'm in Brooklyn right now.
Happy for you.
Yeah, kicking it with the fam. All right, that's what's up. Lee, let them know where to find you, man.
At Twitter _ Lee Escobedo, LeeEscobedo.
All right. You can find us at the KOT Show on Twitter, Knick of Time Show on Instagram, and the Knick of Time Show on Facebook as well. Also, you're on TikTok, so head on to that TikTok. You're already seeing my guy Fritz will be putting that in the chat. The Knick of Time Show on TikTok. All right. We also go live on TikTok too, which is interesting. It's a whole different format, but we still go live. It's more for mobile if you watch it on TikTok, more for TV if you watch it on YouTube. All right, cool. Oh, I have been watching Bleach. I have been watching Bleach 1,000-Year Blood War. That's actually been pretty good. The one thing about anime, man, that especially Bleach with all the crazy weapons and the Bankai and like some of the ways that the battles happen, they're just not predictable. They're just not. That's why I love it, because they'll just pull out something out their ass. And you're like, what? I didn't even know you can do that. What? It's like, oh, I'm just summoning a soul-eating baby to destroy this evil doer who has weapons made of nerve endings. I was like, who, like, anime, they be thinking
creative,
crazy stuff that I would never even thought of. I'm like,
that's dope.
Yeah. The Bleach report is wild. Not Bleach report. Bleach is wild. You see, my brain is basketball and anime. Yeah. So, yeah, that's right. So I gotta check out Bleach tomorrow because it comes on again tomorrow. All right, yo, that's the show. Thank you guys for watching. Great show. Felicia says, great show, guys. Great win. Thanks, Felicia.
Appreciate you.
Africa Bob says, KOT is the most informative show. Appreciate you. Thank you. All right. New subscribers, appreciate you guys as well. See, subscribers has been going up recently. I feel like I don't know what it is. There's the energy in KOT. People are more interactive. I appreciate you guys, man. Appreciate the love and the interactivity, man. We are nothing without you guys. All right.
Amen.
That's the show. We are out of here, and as always,
shout out the worldwide west. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
It's a mess out here in these Knicks streets. That's the show. We out of here. Peace.
York, New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
NYC.